Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. I'm going to do a reading for Virgo energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be kind of like high vibe Virgo energy. The bottom row is going to be a more worldly focused or shadowy Virgo energy. And it could just be a battle within yourself or within other people, because we all have this dualistic nature. We get at those points in time in our life where part of us would like to move forward in our life and part of us would like to stay in our comfort zone, and it causes us this inner conflict within ourselves, and it's hard to get to the truth of what we should do. Maybe we can figure it out in this reading. And then there's some people who have definitely not in that state right now. And I think we can all go into that state of conflict. But some people aren't in that state of conflict, and they are definitely moving forward, having hope and faith and belief in their dreams. There's some things that they've seen the truth about, that they have freed themselves from, and they're moving forward in their life with whoever the people are in their life. And it is about putting work and effort to be just and fair and loving and balanced and treating other people the way you like to be treated. And then there's some people in the world who are more aligned with their shadowy energy or their worldly nature, and it's all about indulging in the world or their ego or their fear or staying in codependent relationships. So let's go see what we got going on here. This all looked good until we got to the end, but the reason for the reading for the high vibe people is deceit, and that can be a catalyst for people to live their life differently. We've all got to go live life and find out what works and what doesn't work. And it can be difficult, and we can go through how we were deceiving ourselves, how other people were trying to manipulate and deceive us. And we see the truth of it. And the reading starts out with the door to spirit. Sometimes when some people come into our life and they're in shadowy energy, they're prideful, egotistical, manipulative, deceptive. Initially we don't see the truth of it, or we probably wouldn't have gotten in a relationship with them or taken that job. But then when we do, depending on how much life experience you've had, where it's like, been there, done that, I am listening to my intuition, and it kind of catapults you and is that event or situation in your life that really makes you do the work to open yourself up to loving yourself and believing in yourself, because we don't want to deceive ourselves anymore, and we don't want to be deceived and manipulated by others. So then we have two cards not showing themselves. The way I interpret that is that whoever harnesses these energies in a shadowy way in your life, you've cut those people out of your life, and you're harnessing those energies in a high vibe way. And that's what some people didn't know about you. And they thought that they could manipulate or control you, but you saw that they harness these energies in a shadowy way and you cut them out because you harness these energies in a high vibe way, and they weren't aligning with that. Broken heart and fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. If you were dealing with someone who might think that it's just and fair, because the broken heart card reminds me of the Three of Swords in tarot, which is a Libra energy. Some of you could have dealt with a Libra, or you could have just been dealing with someone who you thought would be just and fair in a balanced way, and that they would be loving. That if they have inner conflict, if things come up in their life that cause them fear or insecurity or pride or ego or defensiveness or lust or greed or temptation, you thought that they would choose love. And some people in your life didn't. When people are in a relationship with you, they have the choice at any given moment in the relationship. They have the free will choice to be open, honest, loving, authentic, to treat you in a just and fair manner, the way they would like to be treated in a relationship. And some of them thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I think I have a better idea, my pride and ego. I think I know better. I'm not going to do love. And when people do that, it can be because either they don't want to be open and honest, they don't want to be vulnerable, they don't want to be just and fair, and they're hoping that they can maybe use the love that you have for them against you to manipulate you, and that you'll be willing to give up on your dreams and the way you want to do things in love and justice and fairness, and that you'll be willing to do the relationship the way they want, that you'll give up on your dreams. But what they didn't know about you is that you do put in work and effort to love yourself and believe in yourself, to heal from people who are hurtful and unkind and unjust and unfair and unloving. And you love yourself, and you are someone who is able to get yourself back in balance when someone tries to throw you out of balance, to make you indulge them in their poor behavior. And they didn't know that about you because they probably haven't been someone who's able to do that in their life. If people hurt them, if people are unjust, unfair, and all that kind of stuff, it can really maybe bother them and manipulate them to a degree that they don't free themselves from it and move forward in life. So they thought, since that works on them, when people try to manipulate and control them and instill like fear or insecurity or pride and ego and competitive energy within them, they fall for it. And they could have thought you would, but you didn't. So then we have the community card, financial constraints, and the woman holding heart. You operated from a foundation of love to free yourself from feeling left out in the cold by people like that. Basically, someone who's trying to bully you to do what they want in an unloving way, you know? And you were able to free yourself to come out in the world more balanced, maybe, than you were before. And that could have been why this whole situation happened. If you weren't someone before who you before could have been someone who still had some unresolved heartbreak, and that kind of kept you kind of imprisoned and enslaved and instilled some fear and insecurity within you. The whole reason you could have come into this contact with this person, because I think the divine will use people in the world, even if they have shadowy ways of being, to try to be of benefit to other people. And we can have similar wounding as other people, and that's why we can kind of be drawn and attracted into getting in relationships with them, because we're kind of in the same place. But the difference is we can get in relationships with people, and we do have hope and faith and belief in love and belief in our dreams. We just have healing to do. And the other person could be someone who has similar wounding as you, but they kind of keep defaulting to their more shadowy ways of handling things, being defensive, being manipulative, not wanting to see the truth, don't think love and truth and honesty or healing is the way to solve their problem. They could indulge in trying to feel better or trying to get what they want in an emotionally manipulative way. And that was to help you kind of heal from something in your life, that this could have been a recurring thing in your life to a degree, or they could have reminded you of someone that you hadn't even subconsciously hadn't healed from. And they could have kind of reminded you of that person. You didn't even realize it at the time that it was kind of a similar wound. And it was the very thing that was needed to get you to love and believe in yourself and free yourself. And you've come out the other side. You know, this picture, it looks like a man kind of dressed up as a female. And it could have been what was needed to get you more balance within yourself, between your masculine and feminine, and kind of between your light and your shadow nature, to be more bold and brave and confident within yourself, because in our shadowy nature, we can be codependent on other people to love us and make us feel better and all that stuff. And this could have been the thing in your life that helped you get more balance within yourself, that and being less codependent on other people. It was the thing that made you dig deep, possibly, to really have to love yourself and deal with any not loving yourself type of energy that you could have had, where it made you look outside of yourself. Like, if I just find other people to love me, then that will be the answer. And that makes us codependent, and we're supposed to be more self-sufficient within ourselves. And I think it's the hardest lesson people have to learn. And we can go through a lot of painful relationships to learn to love ourselves and be more balanced within ourselves and detach from past pain and heartbreak. And sometimes it takes getting in relationships, again, the divine will use other people who might have similar wounding but aren't willing to work together with you in a relationship to finally get you to free yourself from that once and for all. I don't need other people to love me and believe in me and whatever. I can love me and believe in me so that I am more independent in the world, knowing my worth and value. And just to be more balanced within yourself. Let's go look at the shadowy energy. I'll turn the camera down here so you can see the pictures. We have the angel of strength, appreciation, angel of balance, happy family, and anxiety. And the reason that card came out is because of the woman holding coin. The feminines in tarot can talk about our emotional state. There's some people in the world, that are more emotionally aligned with their worldly nature. They're more wanting to be in a relationship so they can kind of be indulged. It's good for their ego, it's good for their image, good for their status, good for their sense of stability and security, wanting to maybe be in relationships with other people who value those things. And if you're more tipped into your more worldly nature, you're not someone who's as aligned with your more hopeful, believing nature and believing in your dreams and wanting to be in relationships that are just and fair and loving, and might settle for being in a relationship more for stability and security and having hope and faith and belief in those things. But other people that you could have gotten in a relationship with, unbeknownst to you, they could have been someone who really likes to be in a relationship more because of status and image and money and materialism, and they were hoping you would be willing to stay in a relationship with them for those reasons also. So they could have tried to present themselves as harnessing high vibe Virgo energy, like, oh no, I'm not materialistic, I'm not fearful, I'm not insecure, I'm not egotistical and self-centered and ego and image focused. I have hope and faith and belief in love. So you get in a relationship with them, and then you realize that, they have some unresolved pain and heartbreak they haven't dealt with that stops them from being more authentic and vulnerable from a heart place in a relationship. And you realize that you got yourself in a relationship, initially it could have seemed like a dream come true with the door to spirit. You could have thought you got in a relationship with someone who harnessed like high vibe Leo, high vibe Virgo, high vibe Sagittarius, high vibe Pisces, high vibe Gemini, high vibe Taurus. And you thought this was going to be a stable, grounded, balanced, loving, emotionally mature relationship because you thought you got in a relationship with someone who was emotionally mature and stable and grounded, who act with character and integrity. But the thing is, if they're more motivated by money and materialism and status and image, and a little bit in shadowy Taurus energy and shadowy Virgo, their long-term goal could be to be in a relationship because of the status and the image and all those things, it provides for them. But if their driving factor for being in the relationship isn't love, they're in the relationship for another reason. It even could be, I feel left out in the cold. I'm going to present myself as a loving family person to get people to work together with me in a relationship because I don't know how to fill my own cup emotionally. I'm afraid of not attaining the things that other people attain in the world. I want to be in a relationship. I just don't, I'm not really driven and motivated by love. I could be fearful of love because what if I emotionally invest in someone and then, I am authentic and vulnerable and then it doesn't work out? Some people don't have a very strong emotional foundation within themselves to believe that they can weather disappointments in life. It would completely throw their life off into the ditch. But instead of putting in work and effort to know their worth and value and love themselves and believe in themselves and work through their fears and their insecurities and their self-limiting beliefs to have that more emotionally stable foundation within themselves, they could just think, I feel in lack. I don't feel like I have the things that other people have. I don't feel abundant within myself. And they too, like you, could have been people who looked to other people outside of them, to provide that for them. The only difference between you might have wanted that, they might have wanted that. You were someone who could have had hope and faith and belief in love where the other person didn't. And they do operate more from a worldly, egoic, defensive nature. And you maybe just hadn't quite learned how to love yourself, but you could be loving to other people. And they might be people who haven't learned really how to love themselves or to be loving to other people. It's more about wearing this false mask that I'm more stable and grounded and abundant internally, emotionally than I am. But I want to be in relationships with people and look like I'm a loving family person and I want other people to view me that way. And I don't want to be left out of these things of the world, but I'm kind of more emotionally invested in my worldly, egoic, defensive nature and maybe materialistic nature. And it is more about being in the relationship for the status and the image. And so then you could have gotten in a relationship with them. You didn't know that they operate more from pain and heartbreak. What is this card again? Than love. And at some point in the relationship, as you were doing work, that's the difference between people too. If we get in relationships with people who can have similar wounding as us, we can all work together in a relationship. It's just that some people are motivated and inspired to free themselves from some of their fear, their insecurity, their self-limiting beliefs, because they've dragged it around for a while, and we can all have those, from age 15 to age 18 to age 21 to age 25. And we shed some of those things as we go forward in life. Some people are motivated and inspired no matter how old they get because we have layers and layers to our worldly nature. As we keep moving forward in life, new fears and things bubble up. And some people are motivated and inspired to work through those things to keep being free of those things. I don't want to carry these fears and insecurities or self-limiting beliefs with me for another 5 years. And if I'm in a loving, supportive environment, I'm going to do that work to love myself, to free myself. The only thing is, if you get in a relationship with someone who's not motivated in their Virgo energy to heal and self-reflect about past pain and heartbreak and fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, they tend to work against you in a relationship, because if you change and you heal, you're going to be more free in the world than you were before, and they're still kind of imprisoned and enslaved by those things. And then some of the people who know that they wear a false mask, that they really aren't maybe who they said they were, could end up having a lot of fear in the anxiety card that the people they get in a relationship with will emotionally grow and mature themselves, and that they'll heal from some of their past pain and heartbreak. And if the other person is unwilling to do that for some reason, then they're always fearful that the other people will heal and grow and mature themselves because for some reason they're unwilling to do that. Oh, I always find that really confusing. So let's ask, why are some people just refuse to deal with their issues? I guess it's people who just say, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. That's past. It's over. I think, in my pride and ego, I can just ignore that and keep moving on. But the thing is, all these things that have caused them pain and heartbreak in their past affect the relationship. And they could think, oh no, it won't affect it. I'm just going to ignore it. It's over. It's done. I've gotten in a new relationship. But if you haven't healed from past pain and heartbreak, it is going to affect the relationship. Why are some people so unwilling to deal with their own fears and insecurities? The Eight of Wands, the Hermit, the Page of Swords, the Tower, and the Queen of Cups, because of the King of Cups. Well, it would require them, in their Sagittarius energy, to try to wrap their brain around this game of life, because Sagittarius energy is about higher learning, and they'd have to, for one, maybe love the idea of being inspired to grow and mature themselves. And some people aren't. And they'd have to be motivated and inspired to gain insight and wisdom about why, in their Page of Swords energy, they're defensive to detaching from maybe loving their more egoic nature. Because why does anybody probably align with their more emotionally defensive egoic nature? Because it makes them feel safe and secure. And some people in the King of Cups energy, they present themselves to the world and other people as like loving family people. And that's what they think is the name of the game. And they could think that, well, if I present myself as like a loving family person to people in the world, there's going to be people who are willing to move forward with me in the world. Like, I've presented this facade that I'm high vibe Virgo, high vibe Cancer, that I'm insightful and wise, and I'll just hide. But I'm really kind of immature in my thinking, logic, and reasoning, and that I am no longer, I've let go of connecting in with my more emotionally loving, intuitive nature. I gave up on that because I don't trust people in love. I don't want to be emotionally vulnerable. I've decided that the way to protect my more vulnerable nature is to let my ego protect me. And so it's kind of like their inner child nature of hope and faith and belief just sits within their head looking out the eyeballs as their ego runs their life. And their more hopeful believing nature might say, gee, it'd be nice to do this and that, but they've already given control over to their ego, and their ego runs their life. They made that free will decision. I'm not going to be connected in with my emotions and my intuition. I'm going to, let my mind and my ego protect me. For some, so let's go with that part of the story for now. So some of those people, they get in relationships with people, and then I think they're really stressed out because they know that they're not being authentic. They know that they're wearing a false mask. Then I think some of those people, they know they're not being authentic in who they present themselves to be. And then I think they get really stressed about the other people that they're in a relationship Because if they know they're like that, then they wonder if the people they're in relationship are like that. And then they think those people really aren't in the relationship with them for authentic reasons. And they're always afraid those people are going to leave them out in the cold. And for some, and then for other people, they get in a relationship because there could have been someone, if they are more worldly and ego and image focused and materialistically focused, but that person didn't come along and you came along, it's like, oh, okay. Well, this is someone that if I get in a relationship with them, it'll look like I'm not left out in the cold, like I'm this loving person, I'm working together with someone else. But that isn't the truth of the type of relationship they really want to be in, because that's not what they're aligned with within themselves. It's like, shit, how do I get myself in a relationship with someone who has hope and faith and belief and love and believe in their dreams? I want to be in a relationship with someone who's more motivated and inspired by the world, who's kind of really stressed out about ego and image and money and materialism. And so I know it's hurtful, but for some of you, you could have gotten in a relationship with someone, they weren't being truthful about what drives and motivates them, but because the type of people they would have liked to have been in a relationship with, kind of more worldly, competitive, egoic, because that's maybe who they are, they got in a relationship with you, but it was kind of using their emotions manipulatively because they wanted these things of the world, and they wanted the family and the whatever, and to look like their dreams had come into reality. It's just that that's not the foundation that they want to build a life upon, because love and like justice and fairness and truth and honesty isn't really what drives and motivates them. For those people, they kind of want to maybe be in relationships with other people who don't do love, who also might operate more from their egoic nature, who are more motivated and inspired to hide their more vulnerable, authentic nature also. Because then they can both be people who operate more from ego, who kind of indulge themselves in relationships, who don't have to detach from their more worldly nature to let that go, to be aligned with their more loving, intuitive nature. And some people are defensive to that. I don't want to let go of this. So I don't want to be in relationships with people who have hope and faith and belief and love, because that would make me vulnerable. And I want to be in a relationship with people who let me wear my false mask because they wear a false mask, who will stay in a relationship with me more because of ego and image and money and materialism. Neither one of us, well, I think they're hurting themselves every day, but in their viewpoint, if being hurt emotionally is like the biggest sin and danger in the world, being in a relationship with loving people is like the biggest danger in the world. I need to be in a relationship with people who also want to hide from the truth. And so they could have been in a relationship with loving people, but they actually felt left out in the cold from being in relationships with people who might operate more from pride and ego, who might make their life more about money and materialism, who just try to balance out their emotions about the fact that they're in relationships with people, but which can be difficult because just being in a relationship with someone means you have to deal with someone kind of emotionally, and that can cause them a lot of stress and anxiety just working together with people emotionally, because they might be people who like to keep their emotions and everything kind of buried beneath the surface and live a much more worldly focused, either indulgent or materialistic life. So, for some of you, you've already been in relationships with people like that. And, the people who you detach from, they know that you're a loving, nurturing person and that you're like just and fair in relationships, and you're not petty and envious and jealous and competitive, and that you're nurturing and supportive and encouraging. And it kind of causes them stress because they know that you're going to actually manifest the real deal into your life, and you might be working together with other people who have freed themselves from their more fearful, emotionally defensive nature, or you will be working with people like that. And they know that they weren't truthful and honest in a relationship with you. And for some of them, if they went to go get in a relationship with someone else, kind of in their ego, thinking if I'm single, there's going to be someone who I think would want to be a partner to me and they'll want to be in a relationship with me. It's just that sometimes if they do know there's someone in the world who's kind of like them, but they got in a relationship with people who are not like them, well, the person who they could want to be in a relationship with could have a lot of fear and insecurity about getting in a relationship with them. They could think, I think you and me are on the same page. I think we're kind of motivated and inspired by the same things in the world. But I have fear of getting in a relationship with you because I know you were in a relationship with someone who is just and fair and loving. And I know I'm kind of not like that. I'm kind of like you. I kind of am defensive and fearful and maybe insecure and kind of manipulative and deceptive and self-centered and materialistic and all of that. I'm afraid that if you deceive those people and you weren't truthful and honest with them, I'm afraid you're deceiving me. And I'm afraid that you're going to maybe want to reunite with those people because being in a relationship with me, you feel like you might be missing out in love. You know, so see, it would be a weird catch 22. But I think that could happen to some people. It's like, I really want to be in a relationship with this person, but because I can't be in a relationship with that person right now, I'm going to go get in a relationship. And they get in a relationship with someone who seems very loving and kind and nurturing and supportive. And they go back to try to get in a relationship with someone who's more on the same page as them. And that person's like, I know that person. You know, I don't have the traits and qualities and characteristics of that person. Why would you want to be in a relationship with me? Is it because I have these things of the world? You know, and then even people who are shadowy could want people to be in a relationship with them because they love them, even though, you know, they might have a limited perspective of love, but they might be afraid of getting in a relationship with them for some. For other people, the people in shadowy energy are single. They want to be in a relationship. But again, if they know that, you know, if you know you don't want to be authentic and honest and just and fair and loving in a relationship, it can be difficult because this whole same scenario could play out again. And sometimes what shadowy people will do in a relationship to try to stop the people in their life from loving and believing in themselves, they'll do all these shadowy things in a relationship to cause their partner to be in shadow and stress and anxiety and fear, to make them stay focused on the relationship and investing in the relationship. And they're kind of being, you know, not nice. They're kind of maybe being manipulative or bossy or controlling and kind of focusing more on things of the world or work or whatever or other people to try to cause fear and insecurity in their partner who's loving, so that their partner doesn't keep healing and believing in themselves, because eventually that person is going to want them to heal and mature themselves. And if they can keep causing them fear and anxiety and make them keep investing in the relationship and focusing on the relationship, it's like, that's good. You keep focusing on this relationship. You keep putting in work and effort. That's good. That's good. You keep focusing on us, and you keep trying to get me out of my ego and my being manipulative or bossy or controlling or whatever I'm doing that causes you to be up in your head. Oh, good, my plan's working. Oh, you're not paying attention to loving yourself and dealing with your own issues? Perfect, you stay focused on me. Do not deal with your own inner issues, because I don't want you to free yourself. I don't have your best interests at heart. I don't want you to be free. I don't want you to grow to your full potential, because then you're going to want me to grow to my full potential and free myself. And I don't have any interest in doing that. I want you to stay in the relationship with me because it's good for our ego and our image and our status. And I'm going to try to maybe manipulate you. And if all those things don't work and you're still healing and loving yourself, well, then, if the relationship ends, or I decide to end the relationship, or you decide, whatever, I'm going to go operate from my ego, and I'm still going to try to manipulate you into feeling left out in the cold so that you'll give up on your dreams and be deceived by my unloving ways of being and want to come back and be my partner because you have fear that you won't be able to manifest your dreams into reality. And you'll do the relationship the way I want. Perfect. And some of you said, no, I see the truth. You have a lot of unresolved issues you haven't dealt with. I keep not remembering what this card is. The heart card of love. I have decided to love myself and listen to my intuition. And this isn't loving. You had the free will choice to be open and honest and just and fair and loving, and you chose to be hurtful, unkind, deceptive, manipulative, prideful, egotistical, to try to manipulate me. I don't want to be in relationships with people who are like that. I reject you from my life, and I'm going to love myself, to free myself, to take action in the world. I wish you peace, but I'm moving on. I'm no longer in illusion about who you are. You've shown me the truth of how you choose to handle things, and you chose to try to manipulate me instead of being loving to me. Apparently, you have a lot of fear about love. So I'm going to let you go live your life and be in relationships with whoever you want. Because when you were in a relationship with me, when I was willing to work together with you in love and put in the work and effort, you weren't willing to put in the work and effort with me cooperatively to work through those things. So I think I did everything I can. So I think I'm free to move forward in life and work together with others who are loving, who are more balanced and have done the work within themselves to be more balanced, who have dealt with some of their fears and their insecurities and their self-limiting beliefs, to work with me at where I'm at. And apparently, some people are pages behind and books behind and volumes behind in learning lessons in life about what it means to work together with people in a relationship, and everybody can have their own illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. Some people think I should be able to be prideful and egotistical, and you should just try to balance out your relationship yourself about being in a relationship with me. I have the status or the image or the money or the good looks or social status or whatever. If you don't want to balance out your emotions about me being the way I am, I'll go find someone else who is. It's like, peace be with you. Good luck. And now some of those people could be stressed because, well, let's skip to the end here. What's coming up for people who harness high vibe Virgo energy? I'm going to get a fresh deck so all the cards can come out. What's coming up for people who harness high vibe Virgo energy that have done the inner work to open the door to spirit, listening to their intuition and love to guide them versus fear or insecurity or competitive energy or jealousy or envy or any of those shadowy energies. What's coming up for those people that they might not see coming up on the horizon? The High Priestess, because of the Queen of Swords. I think there's other people in the world. Well, for one, just within you, as you keep letting kind of like this higher energy of way of being in your life guide your life, you are going to see life from a much higher perspective. And you're going to see the truth and have this much bigger perspective of being able to see how people kind of get caught up in their fear and their insecurity and their ego and their worldly nature. And just really believing in your dreams and emotionally speaking your truth. And maybe being intuitive that other people are emotionally defensive to looking at life from a higher perspective, are emotionally defensive to healing. Don't believe there's any higher truth or justice to aspire to in the world. That the only reason we're here, it's a blip, a freak of accident, nature. We're just here in the game. The world says to make it about money and materialism. You also might come to realize that some people are very self-centered and egotistical. They get in relationships and everybody else is supposed to put aside their pride and ego, but never them. And because you have seen life from a higher perspective and you are connected in with your emotions and intuition, I think there's other people who are intuitive that you have seen life from a higher perspective. And those people might want to work together with you because they also have gone through similar life experiences. They also see life from a higher perspective. They aren't people who are caught up in their ego and image and trying to manipulate people for ulterior purposes. And they could be intuitive that you're not that kind of person either. And those people might communicate with you. Tell us about the people who are in shadowy Virgo energy that have not seen the truth, who are still aligned either with their fear and insecurities or their more emotionally defensive, materialistic nature. We had 3 cards sticking up, so I'm going to take those ones out. And then we'll take the bottom of the deck as to why this came out. Some of those people are stressed about wanting someone to make them an offer. Some of them is because they're very prideful and egotistical and self-centered. And they could think, oh my gosh, I'm all this in the world. The Queen of Coin. I have all these things in the world. I could be very stable, abundant, attractive, have power, have influence, have, social collateral or whatever. I think I look like a shining star. And they might have someone invest in them for those reasons. But the reason they're offering them their things of the world, not a cup of love. And what the people who might be making them an offer to be in a relationship is like, yeah, I see you've got those things. I want those things. Those things would make me feel like my dreams came true. It would make me look really victorious and successful in the world. I'll invest in you for those reasons. But the reason they might be investing in them is something they're not showing them. 10 of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So the 10s in tarot can talk about completing a cycle and having new clarity and insight. This person still hasn't completed a cycle and they're not offering love. What else could the Ten of Swords in reverse be? Um, they could be someone who could have felt betrayed and backstabbed by other people in their life, and they don't want to feel like betrayed and backstabbed. And they could think that if they get in this relationship, that will solve that problem of feeling betrayed and backstabbed and maybe unloved. But that's an illusion, right? It's kind of looking to someone as being, you're the solution to my problems. The thing is, when people look to other people as like, you're the solution for my problems, I don't have to do the work within myself to grow and mature myself. You're the answer. Well, the whole thing is, if their issues bubble up again, then it's like, oh, you're not the answer. I really thought that if I got in a relationship with you, like all my dreams would come into reality. And some of you, some of the people in your life could have thought that about you. And then when their issues bubble up again, it's like, oh, I don't know if you're the right person for me to be in a relationship with. My issues are bubbling up again. I thought you were the answer. I thought you magically were the magic elixir that I wouldn't have fear and insecurity anymore. But I do. You must not be the right person. I need to go find someone else to get in a relationship with because you're not the one. You didn't fix my problems. You know, other people aren't the solution to fixing your problems. You have to deal with your own problems. Other people are in your life to be loving and encouraging and supportive of you while you do that inner work to deal with your own problems. Someone, the swords is air energy, air sign energy, which can be about people who are bright and intelligent and charming and it might be someone who's not very intelligent. So we have someone who's kind of, gosh, and then the Ace of Cups in reverse. Sometimes when cards are in reverse, it can mean an excess. They could get someone that gets in a relationship with them that really lives more from their mind than their heart, who really does not plan to emotionally invest in them. And for some of these people who have been stubbornly refusing to learn their lessons, I do not have to self-reflect. I do not have to realize that I might be deceitful, that I might be prideful and egotistical, that I might wear a false mask. I think I'm the smartest bulb in the box, and that the whole thing is to try to get them to see the truth. You let go of loving people who are willing to be encouraging and supportive of you, who weren't trying to manipulate and control you, and then you're going to settle for this? Really? People who could be completely devoid of emotion and affection? Really? That's your dream come true? This is the perfect world for you? And I guess we live that way until we just can't take it anymore. And we're finally willing to do life differently. But we all know people who stubbornly refuse to change. And if they think that's what will give them, by worldly standards, look really successful, unwilling to see the truth, unwilling to do love, well, then I guess they get to be in a relationship with someone who they can present the illusion that everything's wonderful and stable and victorious and successful. It just will not be based on love at all. And everybody's got free will. If that helps them feel stable and grounded within themselves and safe and secure, then, that's what they're going to do. So there you go, Virgo. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.